Welcome back again, and I hope you're all doing fantastically well in these unprecedented times, as they like to say. They are unprecedented. I do have my reservations about what's going on, but that will be left for another day and another time in another video. But my take on it is that, cut a long story short, I think this is I think there is a virus, but it's not as it's not as contagious, or it's not as deadly as they make it out to be. And from what I've heard, I watch a site called London Real, and I've heard a few interviews on there. And from what I've heard, they're kind of inflating the figures. So everyone who's dying at the moment is getting marked down as a COVID-19 death, or and that's a COVID-19 death, and that's a shame, really, because they're really inflating the figures, and the true story's not being told. But that's another story for another day. What I have for you in this video is, oh, by the way, we'll thank Mike and the Mechanics looking back over my shoulder as the introduction music to this video. And that's basically what it is. It's looking back over my shoulder at things that have happened in the past, incidents, events, and I've got stories about some of my most memorable and infamous rejections, besides the "sorry, I've got a boyfriend" line. So I'll start by telling you what happened a couple of weeks ago. Now, I was getting home. It was getting dark outside, and the elderly couple who lived downstairs from me, they have a granddaughter going through school. I think she's in 5th grade or 6th grade. She's in one of the last years of primary school, and they had their garage door open because they share the front garage. I'm in a block of units, and there's two front garage doors. And I'm on the right, they're on the left. So we share the common ones in the front with the same driveway, if you can imagine that. And I got home and parked my car, and they had some kind of family thing in the garage, because my neighbour who lives down below me, he doesn't park his van, and he's an electrician by trade, but he uses that to store all his stuff. He parks his van out on the street. And got home, and they were sitting in the garage, they were having a laugh or having a drink, except for the granddaughter. And the couple that lived downstairs, the wife's brother, her younger brother, was mucking around with his niece, his niece, because it's his sister's daughter. And he made a comment. I think he was a little bit tipsy or drunk at the time. He made this comment, totally unsolicited, and it was kind of a dig at my height. He said, "Oh, look, forget what the granddaughter's name is. Zoe, that's it. Her name is Zoe." They said, he said to Zoe, "Come have a look at this. Stand next to man overboard over here, and have a look at this. You're almost up to his neck." So she comes up to here on me, and she's in grade 5, grade 6. Now I'm 5'6". She comes up to here already. He was basically having a light-hearted laugh at me, saying, "Oh, look at that. You're already up to this guy's neck. You're going to be very tall. You're going to grow a lot taller than he ever grew." And they all had a bit of a laugh. And I kind of had a wry smile on my face and made some friendly chit-chat, and I walked off. And that was, that was pretty cutting for me a couple of weeks ago. So that incident led me to the topic of what I'm going to discuss today. It's basically some of my most interesting rejections and some comments that were made about me by someone I know's sister when she saw my sister. So I'll start with that comment, actually. So a few years ago, now I have a friend of mine. He's a little bit taller than me by a few inches. Very good looking guy. has little to no trouble with the ladies. He gets a lot of attention from women. And at this particular time, well, there were two incidents. Let me go through the first one. The first one was, at this particular time, right, he was without a girl. He didn't have a girlfriend. And I was dating that obese girl that I was dating, that I've spoken about in the past. And he was wondering how I managed to do so well with her and attract her. And he was talking to his older sister, and his older sister made this comment that he said to me, I don't know if he was telling the truth or not, but this is what apparently she told him. It's strange how the people you least expect to get into, find love and get into relationships, happen to find love in relationships while you're still single. So I found that particularly cutting. The fact that she probably looked at a guy like me, her brother's mate, and said, oh, there's no way a guy like that could attract a woman. So, yeah, I don't know. What she said was pretty cutting again, because if it was true. Because, seriously, I just don't get where people are coming from with this. Let's forget about that. Anyway, if that comment was true, it did hurt, because, it's like basically saying, oh, a guy like that's incapable of finding love and attracting a woman compared to you, my brother. And he's a much better looking guy than me, but why should that hold me back? Why should it? Well, we all know how the world works. Now the other one was from his half sister. So his father's remarried twice, and he's got a couple of half sisters and a half brother. And she made this comment. She met my sister, and she made a comment, not to my sister, but to her brother, or to her half brother, my mate, about me. About my sister, actually, not me. But it was indirectly about me. And she said this. She said, I can't see how those two are related. I don't know. I couldn't believe that's his sister. And my mate says, why do you say that? And his half-sister said, well, look at her and look at him. You wouldn't think that they're related. She's so good-looking. I mean, look at him, but she's so good-looking. So, take that what you will again, but take it how you will. But that was what was said to me by my mate at the time, and it did hurt, because to say that his half sister couldn't understand how we were both related, because my sister was according to her good looking, and I'm not, so she didn't understand how we were related. But that was pretty hurtful. Now the rejections. Here comes the fun part. All right, the laugh part, let's say. Okay. Rejection number 1. The most infamous rejection I had. This was about a month after I finished my day game boot camp that I've reviewed in my video series on this channel. My videos are put up on this channel. And I'm going to call it my infamous, quote-unquote, creepy guy approaching me rejection. So I was doing day game, and it was close to I was in Sydney, and I was near the city, in a suburb very close to the city. And I'm walking out of a shopping centre, an indoor shopping centre, out onto the street, onto the footpath. And what we were taught in the boot camp was to go up to a girl. If you see a girl talking on a phone, make it as though you look like you need to talk to her about something that's very important, that she needs to cut the phone call and talk to you. So I made it look like that. I walked up to her like, I need to talk to you. And I was coming in from an angle that they taught me to come in from, and she was on her phone, and she caught me out of the corner of her eye. And I was probably about a metre, maybe a metre and a half, 2 metres actually, away from her at the time, and I could hear what she was saying on the phone. And I came in from that side, making it look like I needed to talk to her. And she says this to whoever she was talking to on the phone. Creepy guy approaching me. I've got to go. Creepy guy approaching me. Bye. She puts the phone down. I go up to her and say, hi. I just wanted to go, and she goes, oh, well, she cuts me off. I said, hi, I just wanted to come over, and she cuts me off. She says, yes, what do you want? Can't you see I'm busy on the phone? I said, yeah, I could see that, but this is very important. I need to tell you something. She said, well, go ahead, tell me that. What do you want to tell me, creepy guy? And I said, no, I just wanted to come over and say you're really cute, and I wanted to come over and have a chat with you. And she says, oh, thanks for that. I'll see you later. Goodbye. She ran off. Yeah. Now, a couple of other rejections I love. One of them was a very passive body language rejection, very obvious. And I'll go through that one first. Well, one of them wasn't a rejection. One of them was somewhat a girl rejecting my friend, and she was so drunk she thought it was me approaching her, so she yelled abuse at me. But we'll get to that. So the first one was, I was out with my mate, that same friend of mine, the good-looking guy, and we were out at a social function in the bar one night, and there were two girls there, and both of them were Australian girls, but they were Russian-born Australian girls. They're Russian-born Australian girls. And one of them was very attractive. The other one was not so. So my good-looking friend that I was with, he goes up and he starts talking to the lesser attractive one. And I'm just waiting around. I'm waiting around thinking, I don't really want to approach. I don't really want to talk to these girls. So what he does, he calls me over to help him out. Like, he says, come over and talk to her friend. So he's giving me like a, come here. Like, okay, so I walked over. And as I walked towards her friend, I got within about less than a metre of her friend. I was about to introduce myself, saying that I was this guy's friend. What she did is she did this. She stood up, or she was already standing. She saw me coming. She turned her body away from me, so she turned this way. And let's say my friend and the girl who was her friend, my friend and her friend were talking that way, right, where my hand is at the moment. So she turns that way towards them, basically cuts me off. So her body is facing both my friend and her friend. I'm coming in from this side, from here. She's turned that way there. My friend and her friend are here on this side here. So she's basically turned her body away from me so I can't talk to her. And she was standing there doing nothing. She was not talking, she was standing there quietly. That's why my friend called me over in the first place. And I watched the whole thing go down. I watched what he was doing. I walked in, she turned her body, like, as if to say, I'm not looking at you, I'm talking to them. She started a conversation with them as soon as I turned up, without me even having to say a word. I couldn't even get a word in. So I just walked off. Later that night, I was dressed in a white shirt with black checks, white dressy, casual, smart casual, black and white collared shirt, long sleeve, with black and white checks, and I had a smart pair of pants and smart shoes on. So later in the night, I found the girl, her friend, the less attractive one that my friend was originally talking to. I found her on her own, and I don't know what had happened to her friend, and I can't remember why. The reason was that I lost my friend. Just take a sip of my tea. I can't remember the reason why I lost my friend, and I don't know where her friend was, but I went over and chatted to her. So she was sitting alone on the lounge, and I went down, I sat down, I started chatting to her. And I said, I just wanted to ask you one thing. She said, yeah. She said, I said, I'm that guy's mate. She goes, yeah, I know. I saw you come over and try to talk to us. I said, yeah. I said, your friend was very rude and disrespectful to me. Why was that? She could have at least said, you've been polite and not turned away from me and started talking to you as soon as I decided to come into the conversation after my friend invited me. And what she told me was, she didn't say anything about me. She just said, she looked at me. She looked me up and down again. This is the less attractive one. And said, I don't think black and white checks are a very good look. I said, really? I said, really? She said, yeah, I don't think it's a very good look. I think it's not the kind of shirt you should be wearing to an event like this. I said, well, I mean, it's smart casual. She said, well, try and wear some more colour. Try and put on some more colour next time. I was like, okay. Right, so I just walked away, which was looking at that later, I knew straight away it was a rubbish excuse because her friend was not attracted to me, didn't want to engage me in the first place. She just wanted to know my friend, and so did her friend. They all just wanted to know my friend. They wanted to talk to my friend. They wanted nothing to do with me. I shouldn't have gone in when he called me over in the first place. But if I hadn't gone in, he would have told me, why didn't you come in? He would have been after me all night. You should have come in. You should have come in. You should have spoken to her. But you're damned if you do or you're damned if you don't. Because if you do, they reject you. If you don't, he has a go at you saying, why aren't you meeting women? Why don't you approach women? It's your fault. So you can't win either way. Now, the next one. This was not really a rejection, but a very scary moment. The last two are going to be very scary moments. So once again, I was doing day game after the boot camp, maybe a little bit later after I met that girl, the first girl, the creepy guy approaching me girl. I was doing day game in a mall, just out of the city here, just on the outskirts of the city. Or not the outskirts, just near the central business district, but just about a kilometre away from the central business district. I was doing day game in the mall. And there was a Chinese girl sitting on a lounge outside a clothing shop. And it was a mixed clothing shop where they sold both men's and women's clothes. And I sat down on the lounge. She was on her own. She was on her phone. I sat down on the lounge. I started talking to her. And started like lightly flirting. Oh, yeah. I was lightly flirting. And engaging her in some conversation. This is after I did the boot camp. Everything was going well. And then so she's Chinese. This guy turned up. He looked half Asian. I wouldn't say he was full Asian. He looked half Asian. He was about, I would say he was a little bit shorter than me, maybe about 5'4", 5'5", maybe just a touch shorter than me. But this guy was built really, really solidly, unlike me, because I'm a thin build. He was a pretty solid build. And he comes up and he said, excuse me. I said, yes. He said, are you trying to chat up this girl? I said, well, yeah, I'm just being friendly. He says, excuse me, that's my girlfriend you're talking to. And then he used some pretty colourful language. He threatened to punch my head down to the floor and kill me. And his girlfriend tried to calm him down. She said, no, he's not trying to hit on me. He's just being friendly. And he wouldn't take it, so he basically chased me out. And I had to run away. I found more security, and I said, look, this is what happened. I was sitting on the lounge, I was talking to a girl there, and some guy came out of nowhere and threatened to kill me because he claimed it was his girlfriend. He said, oh, can you show me who the guy is? I said, yeah, because he had a tag from the clothing shop that he was working in, which was where the girl was waiting. I think he was about to finish his shift probably, and this girl was waiting for him to come out. So I walked him back to the clothing shop, the security guy, and I said, look, he's gone, but he works in that shop because I saw the tag, and he came out of there. And the security guy says, right, well, we'll make a note of that. He said, just be careful, just watch what you do, don't do anything silly, and, just keep to yourself and go on with the day. I said, okay, that's fine. I said, look, I'm going to leave now anyway. He said, yeah, that's fine. Thanks for reporting it to me. I said, yeah, thanks. So what I did, I didn't let that go. The next day, I called up. I looked up the number of that clothing shop. And I didn't call the branch. I called the head office. I went right up to the top. I said, listen, one of your staff members in a certain branch yesterday came out and threatened me. And he threatened to kill me because apparently I was talking to his girlfriend who was sitting on the lounge and I was just passing my time. And it was a woman on the phone, and she says, yes, I know about this. She says she was the manager. I asked to speak to the manager of all branches, like the branch managers. And she says, yes, we heard about that because one of the guys who worked with him in the store reported seeing this guy go up to you aggressively. And we know who he is, and I'm here to tell you that we've already been in touch with him, and both him and he is no longer an employee of our company, and his girlfriend is no longer allowed to come anywhere near this store, and he is no longer required in this store. I said, oh, that was pretty good. She said, yeah, we were told about this by a guy who worked in the store who overheard the whole thing, and saw the whole thing go down. I said, that's news to me. She said, yeah, that was a report given to us, and he's now no longer an employee, and both he and she no longer to come anywhere near this store. I said, that store. I said, yeah, thank you, that's good to know. So that was that. So those are the dangers and pitfalls of trying to meet women by cold approach. You just don't know who or what lies around the corner, and you don't know how they're going to react to you if you're talking to someone's girlfriend, wife, sister, whatever the case is. You just don't know, and it's a big risk, and I wouldn't recommend it. Once again, another reason why I wouldn't recommend day game, because it's just too risky, and even night game, it's too risky. You don't know who's who and who knows who and what they're going to do to you. So the best thing to do is wait for a woman's signal and go on that. Now the final story I have to tell you is I was out at a bar one night with this same friend of mine, actually, the good-looking guy, and he'd gone in and he started talking to a couple of girls. But he didn't call me over this time. He was just talking to them at the bar, and he might have said something very edgy, very out there, which caught one of these girls by surprise, and she didn't like it. She got ticked off, and she walked away, and he had a laugh, and she came back, and this girl must have been so drunk, because I was standing next to my friend at the time, and she turned to me, not to him, but to me, and she said, "Who the F do you think you are, talking to me like that? You have a nerve. You can't say those things to a woman. Who the hell do you think you are?" And she was getting me mixed up with my friend. And what happened was her friend came in and tried to calm it down. And this girl started coming up into my face. And I said, "Hey, it wasn't me. I didn't do a thing. And I didn't. My friend is standing there laughing like it's a big joke. But then it got serious, because there were a couple of guys, white knights, in the bar. And they came up to me and said, "Hey, what did you tell this girl, mate? You effing dog, what the F did you tell this girl?" I said, "Mate, I didn't say her a thing, mate. She's got me mixed up with some other guy." And they were gunning for the girl. They were all ready to have a go at me and have a fight with me. I kept on saying, "Mate, I've done nothing. I stood there innocently, and I hadn't done anything." I was like, "Mate, I've done nothing. Seriously, I don't know what you're going on about. She's got me mixed up with some other guy." It didn't end there. Both those guys and the girl called security on me. They called the bouncers. And what happened was I got chucked out and my friend got chucked out. All because of some edgy comment he made to a girl in a bar. Well, there's a further reason why it's a dangerous and it's a crazy pursuit that if I had my time back again, I would never do. Looking back over my shoulder, I'd never do it. And that's been me today, Man Overboard. Thank you.